You had an interesting story about Yevtushenko.
Well, I was telling you about the workshop boys, the technicians, and they were brilliant, and sometimes they made good, bad decisions by the program directors. They could sometimes make an average exhibition look wonderful, and they could improve things. And more than that, they added a lot to it. But once an artist, poet called Yevtushenko, who was a famous Russian poet, was coming to the ICA to read his poetry. He came in the day before with a bundle of big photographs and asked whether I could put them in the gallery. And I said, no, the gallery's programmed months in advance and there's no chance of that. There's another artist. And he was a bit of a overbearing man and was insistent that he had to have his photographs up on the wall because he was a great photographer, he said. And just questionable. He was an important poet. And we'd sold out the theatre with punchers coming to his poems. And anyway, eventually he said, well, he wasn't going to read his poems unless he could have his photographs on the wall. The compromise we reached was we'd put up some of his photographs in the restaurant area. I sent them up to the workshop to be framed and ready for the next day. And he came, read his poems, and then came out into the restaurant and saw his photographs. The workshop boys had decided that they could improve them immensely. But that was by cutting them, chopping them, making collages, shortening them so that they fitted into... They completely changed the nature of the photographs. And they did improve them. But this guy, who's a kind of demagogue in Russia, wasn't used to anyone improving anything of his. And he went berserk. And but I couldn't but help admire the workshop for doing it, although they had gone beyond their proper remit.
And what was the outcome?
Well, the outcome was that John Calder was a publisher of Yevtushenko. On behalf of Yevtushenko, told me we were going to have to pay some enormous sum, tens of thousands of pounds, because that was the value of the photographs. And I spoke to our solicitor, who wasn't chairman then, but he was our solicitor, Lawrence. Well, and in the end, we settled on the formula. We offered them money sufficient to reprint them, which was a few £100, and I don't think it was ever taken up. But it's an incident that is probably long forgotten.